Dear friends, in the earlier module, we have discussed about the derivation of the wave equation and Poynting's vector theorem. In this module, we will discuss about the propagation of electromagnetic wave through different media and related effects. Propagation of electromagnetic waves through different media immediately implies the fact that what is the nature of the medium. Is it conducting, non-conducting? What is the nature of the wave? Is it polarized or unpolarized? Is the wave propagating through a bounded medium or an unbounded medium? So many issues they arise. So, we are going to discuss about some of such issues. There are many phenomena associated with electromagnetic waves propagating through different types of media. So, we will discuss about some of such important phenomena also in this module. After completing this module, you will be able to understand the concept of intrinsic impedance, propagation constant and phase velocity. You will be able to know about the physical significance of the important term skin depth. In addition, you will be able to understand the mathematical treatment of propagation of electromagnetic waves in lossy and lossless media. Also, you will be able to understand the reflection and refraction of electromagnetic waves at the interface of two dielectrics. To start with, let us consider a plane electromagnetic wave. A plane wave can be described as a wave where phase is constant over a set of parallel planes in the direction of propagation. A uniform plane wave is a wave where magnitude and phase both are constants. The transverse electromagnetic waves in free space are uniform plane waves. The electric and magnetic field vectors are mutually perpendicular to each other and to the direction of propagation of the wave. The electromagnetic energy associated with the wave is equally shared between the electric and magnetic fields. The phases and their magnitudes are always constant. The electromagnetic energy is transmitted in the direction of propagation. A non-uniform plane electromagnetic wave is a wave where amplitudes of electromagnetic field vectors may vary within a plane normal to the direction of propagation. As a consequence, E and H vectors are no longer in phase with each other. Let us consider a plane uniform electromagnetic wave travelling in the positive z direction as shown. Since there is no variation of electric field and magnetic field intensity in a plane normal to the direction of propagation of the wave, we have dabba E by dabba z equal to dabba E by dabba y equal to 0. Also, dabba h by dabba x is equal to dabba h by dabba z equal to 0. Let us assume that E bar is equal to I E x and H bar is equal to j into H y, where I and j represents the unit vectors. That is, electric field vector is chosen along x axis while magnetic field vector is chosen along y axis, so that the Poynting's vector S is equal to E cross H points in the z direction. Let us assume the sinusoidally time varying nature of electromagnetic fields expressed in the phasor form as shown. E x is equal to E 0 into e raised to j omega t minus beta z. Similarly, H y is equal to H 0 into e raised to j omega t minus beta z. Now, consider Maxwell's third equation, namely del cross E is equal to minus dabba b by dabba t. Right hand side of the equation can be shown to be equal to minus j mu dabba h y by dabba t, and left hand side, namely del cross E, can be shown to be equal to minus j into dabba E x by dabba z as shown. Then we have equating for A and for B, dabba Ex by dabba Z equal to mu into dabba Hy by dabba Z. Let us call this as equation number 5. Differentiating equation A with Z and substituting it in equation number 5, we obtain dabba by dabba Z of Ex is equal to mu into dabba Hy by dabba Z, which finally reduces to Hy is equal to beta upon omega into mu 0 into Ex. Let us call this as equation number 6. Let us see a small simplification. Beta is equal to 2 pi upon lambda. After multiplying by the frequency f, we get beta is equal to 2 pi f upon lambda f, that is equal to omega upon c, and 1 upon c is under root mu 0 epsilon 0. Thus, we get beta is equal to omega into under root of mu 0 epsilon 0. Note that we are considering the electromagnetic wave propagating through free space. Using the value of beta upon omega equal to under root mu 0 epsilon 0 in equation number 6, we finally get Hy is equal to under root of epsilon 0 upon mu 0 into Ex. Note that the ratio Ex upon Hy has the dimensions of impedance. It is called as the intrinsic impedance of the free space to the electromagnetic wave and is denoted by eta 0. Then we have eta 0 is equal to under root of mu 0 upon epsilon 0. After substituting the values of mu 0 and epsilon 0, we get eta 0 approximately equal to 377 ohm. Let us further assume that the electromagnetic wave is propagating through a lossless dielectric, that is, let sigma equal to 0. Then the wave equation reduces to dabba 2 Ex by dabba Z square is equal to mu 0 epsilon 0 into dabba 2 Ex by dabba T square, and dabba 2 Hy by dabba Z square is equal to mu 0 epsilon 0 into dabba 2 Hy by dabba T square. From these equations, we understand that the phase velocity of electromagnetic wave under consideration is 1 upon under root mu 0 epsilon 0. Please remember the result for wave equation which we have derived in the earlier module. Thus, in the case of a plane electromagnetic wave propagating in free space, we have the following quantities: alpha attenuation constant, which is 0 because conductivity is 0, beta, which is equal to omega into under root of mu 0 epsilon 0, which is the phase constant, the units are radian per meter, Vp, the phase velocity, which is given by 1 upon under root mu 0 epsilon 0, whose value is about 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second, and eta 0, which is the intrinsic impedance, which is 377 ohm approximately. In general, for lossless medium, that is sigma equal to 0. In the case of uniform plane wave, we have the following relations. Please note that eta is equal to under root of mu 0 upon epsilon, which is eta 0 upon under root of epsilon r, where epsilon r is called as the dielectric constant. The quantity under root of epsilon r is also known as refractive index of the medium. Thus, we have refractive index of the medium is equal to square root of epsilon r, which is equal to c upon the phase velocity Vp. When an electromagnetic wave crosses the boundary of two dielectrics or two media, what happens to the strength, that is magnitude of electric field and their phases, their directions. So, these things can be found out by using some relations between the two quantities in the given media. These conditions can be stated in terms of some equations which are called as boundary conditions. For example, the tangential components of the electric field should be same in the two medium if there is no free charge on the boundary, or the normal component of B or D must be continuous on the boundary. These conditions can be obtained by using some known facts and using some mathematical theorems. For example, while deriving the conditions on electric field vector E, we use the fact that electrostatic field is conservative, that is curl of E equal to 0, that is line integral of electric field over a closed contour is equal to 0. By using this fact, we can show that the tangential component of electric field must be same at the interface of two dielectrics. Similarly, by using Maxwell's equation, we know that divergence of B equal to 0. In addition, by using Gauss divergence theorem, we can prove the condition that Bn1, that is normal component of B, must be same at the boundary if there are no surface currents. Thus, many things can be established in the form of equation, and these boundary conditions are highly useful. In the presence of surface charge density rho s and the surface current densities Js, the boundary conditions at the interface of two dielectrics can be expressed as shown, that is Et1 equal to Et2, Ht1 equal to Ht2 plus Js. Similarly, Bn1 equal to Bn2 and Dn1 equal to Dn2 plus rho s. A perfectly conducting medium is characterized by infinite conductivity and unit value for relative permittivity and permeability. On the other hand, a perfect dielectric is characterized by zero conductivity with electric permittivity and magnetic permeability to have the same value as that of free space. In such a case, that is, for the boundary of a perfect dielectric and a perfect conductor, the boundary conditions become as shown. Note that Et1 and Bn1 equal to 0, while Ht1 and Dn1 they are equated to the corresponding current and charge densities respectively. The boundary conditions on E, H, B and D are useful for deriving many results while discussing phenomena like reflection, refraction at the interface of two different types of media in optical fiber communication, waveguides, etc. When we consider reflection and refraction of TEM waves at the boundary of two dielectrics, the type of polarization of the wave with respect to the plane of incidence plays an important role. We know that the incident direction and the normal to the boundary constitute a plane which is called as the plane of incidence. Slide number 27. If the electric field vector is always perpendicular to the plane of incidence before and after reflection or refraction, then we say that the electromagnetic wave is polarized perpendicular to the plane of incidence. On the other hand, if the electric field vector is always parallel to the plane of incidence before and after reflection or refraction, then we say that the electromagnetic wave is polarized parallel to the plane of incidence. The normal laws of reflection and refraction, which we know, can be derived when the electromagnetic wave is polarized perpendicular to the plane of incidence. Using boundary conditions on field vectors, the expressions for reflection coefficient R and the transmission coefficient T can be derived in this case. Let us see the results for normal incidence and oblique incidence. In the case of a plane electromagnetic wave with electric field vector polarized perpendicular to the plane of incidence, the reflection coefficient R and the transmission coefficient T can be derived using boundary conditions. For normal incidence, the results are as shown. Note that the results are expressed in terms of the refractive indices N1 and N2 of the media. For oblique incidence of the wave, the results for R and T are as shown. Note that the results are expressed in terms of the angle of incidence theta I and the angle of transmission theta T. Note that in both the cases, the sum of reflection and transmission coefficient equals unity. We can have a more interesting case when an electromagnetic wave with E polarized in the plane of incidence is incident obliquely on the boundary of two dielectrics. In this case, with an increase in angle of incidence, the angle of refraction goes on increasing. There is some reflection as well as some transmission. However, at some particular angle of incidence, say phi b, there is no reflection of the wave. The wave gets completely transmitted in the second medium. This angle is known as Brewster angle. The Brewster angle phi b is related to the refractive index n of the second medium with respect to the first medium through the relation as shown. The relation is phi b is equal to tan inverse of n. Knowing the refractive index n, we can determine phi b and vice versa. A sugar stone moving vertically down through a water column slowly dissolves in it due to its high solubility in water. Similarly, when an electromagnetic wave is propagating through a conducting medium, the amplitude of electric and magnetic field vectors and hence the electromagnetic energy goes on decreasing, and finally the wave is absorbed in the conducting medium. Conduction current term dominates the displacement current term in the wave equation for E. The wave equation then reduces to the one as shown. The equation can be read as del square E is approximately equal to mu sigma into delta E by delta T. The loss of amplitude of electric field vector is measured in terms of a physical quantity known as skin depth delta. Skin depth is defined as the distance after travelling which the amplitude of the electric field vector reduces to 1 over E times the original amplitude. Skin depth is given by delta is equal to under root of 2 over omega mu sigma. From the expression for delta, it is clear that for higher values of frequency of wave and conductivity of the medium, the skin depth is smaller. To have some idea about the variation of skin depth with frequency in a given conductor, let us have a look at the values of skin depth estimated for some typical frequencies in the case of copper. Skin depth at various frequencies is as shown in the table. The other table will give an idea of the magnitude of skin depth in some other type of materials like silver, aluminum and seawater. Seawater has conductivity due to its mineral contents. Hence, electromagnetic wave cannot propagate over a larger distance through it. Due to this reason, submarine communication is not possible with electromagnetic waves. We have to use ultrasonic waves for submarine communication. Ultrasonic waves are sound waves of frequency near about 30 kilohertz. A good conductor has very high conductivity, hence the conduction current is much higher than the displacement current. Thus, we have sigma much higher than omega epsilon. In this case, the propagation constant gamma is given by gamma is equal to alpha plus j beta, where alpha is equal to beta is equal to under root of pi f mu sigma numerically. The skin depth delta is given by the expression as shown. The surface resistance Rs of the film is given by Rs is equal to under root of omega mu upon 2 sigma. The intrinsic impedance eta of a good conductor is given by the expression as shown. Note that the eta can be expressed in terms of surface resistance only. Generally, all the dielectric materials have some conductivity, but the conductivities are very small. However, when the conductivities cannot be neglected, the intrinsic impedance of the dielectric to electromagnetic wave is given by the expression which is as shown. In the expression for eta, the term sigma upon omega epsilon is called as the loss tangent and is defined as tan theta is equal to sigma upon omega epsilon. If the loss tangent is small, then the intrinsic impedance gamma is approximately given by gamma is equal to alpha plus j beta, where alpha is approximately equal to sigma upon 2 into under root of mu upon epsilon and beta is equal to omega into under root mu epsilon. Note that the derivations of the approximate expressions for alpha and beta make use of binomial expansions. Let us consider a situation in which radiation is incident from a medium of higher refractive index on the surface of lower refractive index, that is, let n1 greater than n2. We have from Snell's law sin theta t is equal to n1 upon n2 into sin theta I, where theta I is the angle of incidence and theta t is the angle of transmission. If theta I is gradually increased starting from 0, then obviously theta t will also increase until it attains the value pi by 2 radian. Let us represent the value of theta I when this happens by the symbol theta c. Now, go through the numerical expressions and simplifications shown. Here sin theta t will be equal to sin of pi by 2, which is 1. Sin theta c will be n2 upon n1. 1 upon sin theta c will be equal to n1 upon n2. Cos theta can be expressed in terms of sin theta I and sin theta c. Finally, we get cos theta t equal to under root of 1 minus sin square theta I upon sin square theta c. We see that the value of cos theta decreases as theta I is increased. It becomes 0 at theta I equal to theta c, and for values of theta I greater than theta c, cos theta t becomes an imaginary number. This indicates the fact that the incident wave is reflected back into the original medium. Slide number 44. The concept of polarization of electromagnetic wave is very useful for estimating electromagnetic power flow. Consider a linearly polarized uniform plane wave with E lying in the plane of incidence and H lying normal to the plane of incidence. Let us consider such a wave incident obliquely on a boundary between two lossless dielectric, that is conductivity 0, as shown in the figure. The wave impedance Z in the Z direction is given by Z1 is equal to eta 1 into cos theta I and Z2 is equal to eta 1 into cos theta t. The formulae concerned are known in literature as Fresnel formulae. The wave impedance can be related with reflection coefficient and transmission coefficient through these relations. For the electromagnetic wave with E bar in the plane of incidence, Fresnel formulae are as shown. Similarly, for electromagnetic wave with H in the plane of incidence, Fresnel formulae are as shown. Note the difference between the trigonometric ratios involved in the expression for tau and t. Plane wave propagation in metallic film coating on plastics glasses have many engineering applications. An optical material is characterized by a complex refractive index n, which is given by n is equal to n minus jk, where small n is the real refractive index and k is the extinction coefficient. When a plane electromagnetic wave is incident normally on a gold film coated on a plastic glass, optimum amount of microwave radiation is attenuated by gold film, while at the same time sufficient light intensity is transmitted through the gold film. Surface resistance Rs of the gold film is found to be dependent on the thickness of the gold film and has a variation as shown in the graph. Similarly, the light transmittance T varies with wavelength as shown. The n and k values of metal films vary with wavelengths of electromagnetic waves. To have some idea about such variation, the n and k values of copper and gold films for some typical wavelengths of electromagnetic waves are as shown here. The knowledge about the constitution of Earth's atmosphere is quite but essential to understand the propagation of electromagnetic waves through it. As the main constituent parts of Earth's atmosphere, several layers such as troposphere, stratosphere, etc. have been thought of based on some characteristics, mainly their temperature and composition. The approximate altitudes of these regions are as shown. Out of these, ionosphere plays an important role while discussing about propagation of electromagnetic wave in Earth's atmosphere. The region extending from about 50 km to about 10,000 km from the surface of Earth is known as ionosphere. There are different layers designated as D, E and F in this region. This division is based on the magnitude of wavelength of solar radiation absorbed in that region. The constituent gases of these layers get ionized due to solar radiation. Hence, the density distribution of each of these layers varies with season, time duration and the geographical section. The electric densities of each of these layers determine the reflection and refraction of electromagnetic waves. The different regions absorb radiation of different ranges. D region, for example, which is the lowest in altitude, absorbs the most energetic radiation, hard X-rays, while E region absorbs soft X-rays. The absorption of extreme ultraviolet radiation is absorbed in F region. The reflection of EM waves back to the earth is from D and E regions, while F region is responsible for refraction of radio waves with shorter wavelengths. It be noted that visible light, FM and TV waves being very small are reflected from the ionosphere. The electromagnetic waves propagating in free space near the surface of the earth are made up of two parts, namely the ground wave and sky waves. The ground wave is made up of two parts, namely the one known as direct wave reflected from the surface of the earth and a sky wave. The sky wave gets reflected from the ionosphere and reaches the receiving section. The sky waves are important in many communication systems. An electromagnetic wave of wavelength shorter than about 4 meter cannot return to the earth from ionosphere. Hence, in most of the microwave applications, sky waves does not play any role. Well friends, so far we have discussed about many points regarding propagation of electromagnetic waves. We should remember that electromagnetic wave propagation depends mainly upon the frequency, conductivity of the medium and the state of polarization of the electromagnetic wave. All the conductors, they are characterized by complex refractive index. Sky waves, they play very important part in space wave propagation. Intrinsic impedance of the medium depends highly on the frequency and the conductivity of the medium. As far as the polarization is concerned, at Brewster angle there is no reflection but only transmission of the electromagnetic wave. Thus, there are so many points which we can remember as a summary of this model. Thank you.